is the Bring Back Soul Music Podcast, the only podcast devoted to making soul music relevant again. Let's get started with your host, Todd Woodson.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Bring Back Soul Music Podcast. My guest today is a talented singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. Her name is Jacnique Nina. Miss Nina, how you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for joining the Bring Back Soul Music Podcast.
Absolutely.
And before we get started, since this is we're recording the day after Christmas, happy holidays to you and to you and yours.
Yeah, happy holidays to you as well. I hope you had a great holiday.
I did. Thank you very much. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about your latest music a little bit later, but I want people to get to know Jacnique Nina. So tell us about Miss Nina.
Well, let's see. I am just a music making, very mellow, cool, loving person. You know, I believe in kindness and respect for all and just trying to live a lovely life here on this earth, you know what I mean? And inspire some people along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you are out of Los Angeles, but reading your bio, you actually was born in the Bay Area. Is that correct?
That is right. I was born and raised in San Francisco, although my family is really from New Orleans. But my mother and father moved to San Francisco and started a home there, started their family there. So yes, I am a Bay Area girl.
Oh, wow. So am I. I'm from Vallejo.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we have a lot in common there. So let's talk about your family a little bit. Now, was your family into music? Did you grow up in the church or sing in a choir? How did all that come about?
It's so funny because there's really no one musical in my immediate family that I grew up with, you know, close to me. I have a cousin, Simone Keys, who is a gospel artist. She lives in Louisiana. And, you know, we really didn't get a chance to hang out a lot because, of course, she lived in Louisiana and I lived in San Francisco. But shout out to my cousin, Simone Keys.
Shout out to Simone, yes.
Yeah, but it was really strange because I had no way of, I had no path in the beginning. Like, I wanted to do music so bad. Like, when I was very, very little growing up, I'd always be watching, you know, tuned in when Cher or Diana Ross was on the TV. I was like, that is what I want to do. Okay. How do I do that? But there was no one around me that did music professionally, so I just thought this was some ethereal thing. I had no idea I could actually really do that, you know, until much later in high school. I had a friend who was a music producer, and, I expressed interest in making some music, and he made some demos on me that actually came out very, very good, and kind of, you know, rolled along from there.
Okay. So did you move to Los Angeles to further your music career, or?
Yes, I did, and it's been really good for me. I didn't know what would happen, once I came out here, but my first album, Trial by Fire, which was actually made in 2007, but I think I moved to Los Angeles about 11 years ago now. And when I came here and started performing that album, I was just like a relentless performer. I just wanted to be seen and heard, seen and heard, seen and heard, you know, like on a mission. And so I would perform at showcases probably about 3 nights a week, you know, while still having a day job. And it was crazy, but it was fun. I had a good time. But I really was able to get my music exposed in Los Angeles. And I ended up getting the attention of the Los Angeles Music Awards, and I actually won in 2011 for my album Trial by Fire. Los Angeles Producer's Choice Best Jazz Album. And that was huge because the Producer's Choice with the Los Angeles Music Awards has been won by a lot of really famous artists that you know now, like the Black Eyed Peas and Gwen Stefani, the group that she was in, No Doubt, and a few other like really huge big name artists and groups. So that was really a special achievement for me, and I've just been really blessed. Like I keep continuing winning awards, and I'm just really just so happy that the music touches people like that and has gotten that kind of attention, you know. But I really don't make the music to get attention. I just make music from my soul, and it's just a blessing when it's so well received like that.
Yeah, you sent me some information, and I love your music. We're going to actually play a couple songs a little bit later, just to introduce the audience to Miss Nina if they hadn't heard from you or heard of you. Excuse me. So when you moved to LA or SoCal, were you trying to get a record deal, or because I noticed you're independent now, you have your own record company?
I don't know that I would say that I was actually trying to get a record deal. I mean, I think it was definitely something I would not have been opposed to if it were the right type of deal. But as a new artist, you often do not get the best deal. And so that was not super attractive to me. So really what I want to do is just keep my own label running, Siren Fire Music Works, and just put out my own music and just find a way to get it heard by the masses, really.
Okay. So you had some knowledge of the game before you even came to LA.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you hear a lot of artists who sign these bad deals and they're stuck for a while.
Right.
Yeah. So you kind of were hip to how the game was played. So that's great.
Yeah.
All right. And you formed your own company?
Grateful.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what's it called again?
I'm grateful that it's called Siren Fire Music Works.
Siren Fire. Okay.
Yeah, and then I also have my own publishing company, Siren Fire Music Publishing, which I would recommend if you're doing music out there. Please get your own publishing company, please.
Wow. Janique dropping game, so that's great. That's good.
Because you can pass all of that on to your grandbabies, generations, if you set it up right, you know, and as long as it's successful and doing something, hey, whether it's, you know, $500, $5,000, or $500,000, you know, just keep it going, pass it on, leave your legacy, and show your loved ones how to keep it going. You know, I certainly am like teaching that to my daughter. She's only 11, but I'm like, hey, are we selling records today?
Is she a singer too?
Want to do some merchandise? She sings, but she's not trained yet. Her artist name is The Princess, and she's actually on one of my earlier records called Press Play, which is kind of like a dance track.
Oh, okay.
But she's doing a little part saying ba ba ba. She was probably like 3 years old when she did that. It was really funny, but it worked out. It sounds cute in the record, you know.
Well, great. Okay, so so your first album, you said it was called, I'm sorry, what was the first album?
First album is called Trial by Fire.
Trial by Fire, okay. And this is your upcoming album. Is it Wish of the Heart?
Wish of the Heart actually came out last year in 2018 in March, and it was just a phenomenal blessing. As far as like, let me just tell you a little bit about like the history of my project. So I did Trial by Fire in 2007. It really didn't get recognition until I came here, starting in like 2011 with the Los Angeles Music Awards. And I struggled a lot because although I was married and I had like a marriage that went bad, and, you know, thankfully my beautiful daughter came out of that, a huge blessing, but I have struggled a lot financially. And so I made Trial by Fire, and it was really kind of a joke to myself, Trial by Fire, the title of the album, you know. It's like, okay, either this is going to hit the wall and slide off, or it's going to hit the wall and stick, you know. So after that, I was really kind of struggling trying to get the next project off the ground, and I felt kind of stuck because of just, you know, financial restraints and, you know, trying to work a day job. It's really hard to do that and be an artist at the same time and be a great artist at the same time. And so after Trial by Fire, I released an EP called the Rise in Love Deluxe EP, which I think it has 6 songs on it. It's either 5 or 6. But there's some really great songs on that as well. And then I had done some other songs in between there, and then I released like a compilation of what I felt were some of my best works, and that album is called Eternal Love. And then I was just really wanting to make something new and fresh, and I really wanted to work with a very polished industry producer. And so, you know, I'm a spiritual person. I love the Lord, and I just prayed about it a lot. And one day, I have like, you know, an email list. So one day I sent an email to my email list, and I said, you know, that I'm looking for a producer. If you are interested, please get in touch with me. Okay, and now the most phenomenal thing happened. A producer who is an extremely well-known, well-respected, phenomenal producer in the music industry, Preston Glass, was the first person to respond. And he said he was interested. And I just about fell out of my chair, of course, you know. But, you know, I do believe in miracles. And so, you know, we talked, we figured out, you know, how, you know, the particulars about getting this done. And there birthed my first album with him, Wish of the Heart, which is really an incredible album. I really urge you to get that album, check it out. It's got some wonderful, wonderful music on it, and it's just inspirational, and I promise you, you will love it if you pick it up. So Preston and I are continuing to work together. I just love his work style. I love his music. He is one of, I guess you could say, the godfathers of smooth jazz. He's very much hands-on and responsible for the spin-off of that genre. He's the producer of Songbird and also other songs by Kenny G, and he himself, Preston Glass, is a smooth jazz artist, and he has done like many, many phenomenal records in and out of the smooth jazz genre, kind of like pop R&B and straight R&B, some dance records. Some of the records that he's done that you would know are like Natalie Cole, Miss You Like Crazy, Jimmy Mack, Aretha Franklin, Who's Doing Who, Aretha Franklin. He's done records for George Benson, Earth, Wind and Fire, Whitney Houston, the record a while back, Jermaine Stewart, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off to Have a Good Time. He did that. And he just really has this wonderful way of making music that is just infectiously wonderful. You know, you hear it and you want to hear it again and again and again. He's just really gifted that way, and I'm just really thankful and grateful to have made that connection and to still be making music with him.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so now we are embarking upon my second album with him, and we just released the first single, which is called So Says the Fool. And the album theme, the album is called Love Speaks, and the theme of the album is really bringing love, you know, back into the forefront of the world, because there's just so many horrible things happening in the world, and I really wanted to make an album this time that was really geared towards a focus of getting back to love. So the album is called Love Speaks. It won't be out probably for many months, but we are 2 songs in right now. There's another song we did a few months ago called Put Some Harmony in It, which is really a cute, like, R&B pop song. And now we'll be embarking upon we're doing a cover. I'm not going to say what, because we have a really huge artist whose cover I'm doing, a smooth jazz artist, and I just want it to be a surprise. I don't want to tell people yet, but yeah, we have some amazing things coming. And then I'll also be doing a duet with another really huge artist on this upcoming album, Love Speaks. So I'm really excited about all this.
So you have all these teasers you're not going to let us in on, huh?
Yeah, you got to keep listening. You got to follow me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of your new release, the So Says the Fool, I want to jump into that right now. But this was done by Mr. Glass as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I co-wrote with him. Mostly all the songs that we've done, I have co-written with him. He's done all the music, and I've co-written lyrics with him.
Okay. Let's jump into this song. I really do like this song. It's sort of smooth. Let me ask you before we jump into the song. How do you did you mimic someone else or anyone else's? I know you probably have listen to multiple artists, but who would you say that your style mostly resembles?
I'm not sure really who it mostly resembles. When I'm out singing, I get a lot of people saying that I remind them of Sade or I remind them of Shantae Moore. Excuse me, but when I first got inspired to do music, it was because of Tina Marie, her album that had Square Biz and Portuguese Love on there, all of that. Her lyrics are so deep and profound, and the music is so extraordinary, and her voice is so extraordinary. When I heard that album, I played it on repeat day after day, all day long, for forever, and my grandparents, my mom are like, "Are you going to listen to anything else?" I'm like, "No, I'm really feeling this, And so, I just have been a huge fan of hers through the years. And also, many other great artists like Phyllis, Hyman. Sometimes people say I remind them of Phyllis. Someone just told me that yesterday. I was singing at a Christmas thing. And then I love, like, Regina Bell. I love Angela Bofill. I really love, like, the old school R&B vocalists, Mickey Howard, people like that. And then, my mom had a collection of jazz records too, but she had very, very eclectic music taste. And she would play records sometimes like Nancy Wilson, which I fell in love with her records, Sarah Vaughan, Dinah Washington, Billie Holiday. And it's really funny because, like, on the way to school every day growing up, she always listened to easy rock. So, I'm getting, like, Joe Cocker, Billy Joel, Linda Ronstadt, people like that. So I have a lot of influences, really a lot of influences.
Yeah, and, the great thing about growing up in the Bay Area, musically is really diverse. You have the beatniks from Haight-Ashbury, and you have the Carlos Santanas and Sly Stone, Function, and just so musically it was a great place to grow up. But let's get into So Says the Fool, and this is Jacnique Nina with So Says the Fool.
We'll continue our episode after this message. Swag at shop.bringbacksoulmusic.com. Now, back to our conversation.
Janique, that is nice.
Thank you.
I really like that.
I'm very proud of that one. Thank you. And also, I want to mention the backgrounds are done by myself and a really wonderful jazz vocalist, Talita Long, who is the mother of actress Nia Long.
Oh, okay.
I've never met her, But she did the backgrounds for this, and I was like, wow, that is so cool. And then also want to acknowledge Phil Gates, who is an amazing guitarist. He did the guitar solo in there, and all of the other instruments were done by Preston Glass.
Wow. That it's a great song. In fact, when you sent me the information earlier, I looked up Preston Glass just to have some background, and he's worked, like you said, worked with just about everybody. Yeah. So that's great. So now let me ask you about "So Says the Fool." What inspired you? How did that song come about? That particular song.
Well, Preston and I, we talked about titles, and this was a title that came up, and he asked me how did I feel about that title, what did it make me think of, And I told him that, in this world, there's just so many people that want to make you believe that, love is dead, and, why be kind, and who cares, and just negativity, and it's just not true. It's so much more powerful to be loving and kind and respectful. So this is me just expressing that vibe and just trying to let people know, hey, it is okay to love. It is okay to be kind and forget those fools, Basically,
Okay, so you think that a lot of that is missing in today's society?
Yes. I mean, it's certainly there, but I think it's kind of downplayed. I think people who are kind and loving, we're kind of trying to fight our way through this crazy world,
right.
And I think that if we all get in alignment, it would really create a huge positive, loving shift in the world, and I think we certainly need that.
I agree, totally agree. What do you think about today's music? Because you mentioned a lot of old school artists. What do you think about today's, R&B, jazz?
Oh, wow, that's a hard question to answer because I certainly don't want to disrespect anyone, and I mean, I have my favorites of today's music, but I don't know. It just does not grab my soul like old school R&B, like old school soul music, like jazz. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I know that the artists that make today's music are really feeling what they do, but I think there's just sometimes a little something missing. I'm certainly not saying, speaking of all artists making music today, because there's some incredible artists making soul music and R&B music today, like Leon Bridges and people like that. And I don't know, I just love the old school vibe. It's just deep.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, so that So Says the Fool is out right now.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and how are people receiving it?
Oh, I'm getting wonderful responses from it. I think, people are always wanting me to make new music because in general, people do really love my music, and so they're always glad when I have something new, so that's really wonderful.
Okay, that's great. Now, are you going to tour, or how are you going to promote this? I know you're doing the social media, but are you going out on tour to support this? Well, the album hasn't come out yet, but do you plan on taking it out on the road?
Yes. When this album is completed, we will be touring. There's nothing, in concrete yet, but that is the plan.
Okay. And I'm sorry, when did you say the album might be released, or planning on to release it?
This album, it probably will not be ready until spring or summer of 2020, and that's because I really just want to take my time with it. I'm very fast at making music, and it's easy for me to make great records really fast, but I really want to put my soul into this record. And so, I just kind of want to let it flow and not be in a hurry to release it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it may sound like a long way away, but actually it's actually kind of right around the corner. I mean, we're already hitting 2020, so
yeah, it's gonna come right up real fast.
Okay, another song that I like is the "Wish of the Heart." Tell me about that song, 'cause I think I really do like that.
I feel like that song speaks to so many people in the world because, there's so often a feeling of wanting something more, or, maybe you're not in a relationship and you desire to be in a great relationship. And I think there's a lot of people in the world that can really, really relate to that. So I want to speak to that vibration, that need. And the song is it's magical. It's so well received when people hear it, and it's always a blessing to perform it. And people always come up to me like, wow, I really love that song, in particular. And so that's where that's coming from, just, fulfilling the desires of your heart.
Exactly. Well, I want to play this song too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Okay, this is Jacnique Nina and "Wish of the Heart" on the Bring Back Soul Music Podcast.
Secrets that you've been keeping to bring your life meaning.
Miss Nina, another great song. I really love that.
Thank you.
Now, where can people pick up your music?
It's out there everywhere. You can get it on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play Music. There's so many sites that it's on. Let me see if I can let you know. I mean, the list is like forever long, but
Okay.
all of the sites that, are the popular sites that people mostly go to.
Sure.
It's definitely there. It's on 7 Digital, Akazoo, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Tidal, K Digital, so many. Napster, which, wow, Napster is still happening. Wow.
Yeah, I was about to say, is Napster still around?
Right, yes, they are. It's on Pandora, Slacker Radio, Shazam, Sound Exchange, all these different places.
Right. So there should be no problem finding your music.
That's right. But the one thing that might get people messed up is the spelling of my name, because it is unusual. So when you Google me, make sure you type in my name, the correct spelling, which is Jac like cat, N like Nina, Ique, and then Nina, Nina.
Okay, and we'll have links. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, we'll have links in the show notes with the correct spelling, obviously, and also where you can find Janique's music. We'll also have on our website at bringbacksoulmusic.com. So, Janique, 2020 sounds like it's going to be a busy year for you.
I believe it is. I believe it is, God willing. I just want to say a couple things about the album Wish of the Heart. There were some amazing guest artists on that album, and I mean, it was really just a dream for me to work with these people. But there is a guest vocal by Philip Ingram of Switch, who I'm sure you remember Switch from back in the day.
Sure.
They are still touring now, actually, and Philip Ingram just has the most gorgeous voice. He's singing with me on Songbird. The original Songbird by Kenny G was produced by my producer, Preston Glass, and it was funny because Preston and I started talking about that song one day, and I said, wow, it'd be so cool if that song had lyrics. And he said, it's funny you mentioned that because I just wrote some lyrics to it the other day, and now we're talking about 2018. That song came out a long time ago. And I was like, really? But, things like that happen with Preston and I a lot. Like, he's always in my mind somehow.
Okay.
And I mean that totally musically, but
Sure.
It's just great how we connect like that. And so he played it for me. Of course, I fell in love with it. And so he added Philip Ingram, who's singing on the record, and also an amazing trumpeter, Willie Bradley, who is a new artist that you'll be hearing a lot from. And then also on the song Weapons of Love, Reggie Calloway of Midnight Star is playing just a gorgeous flute melody on that song, and it was just awesome to work with him as well. And then I have my music director, Rob Mullins, wrote with us on the song He's a Keeper, and Rob is probably most known for a hit that he had, smooth jazz hit called Making Love, but he is just a very prolific writer, composer, and just always making music, and just a wonderful person to work with, very inspiring. And so I'm just really moved that I was able to work with all these amazing artists. And then another great artist who is on Wish of the Heart in a lot of the backgrounds, Brandon Watts, who is a phenomenal artist in his own right. Check him out when you get a chance. He has a new album that came out recently also.
Okay, well, it sounds like you deal with some heavy hitters.
Only by the grace of God. Only by the grace of God,
I hear you. All right, Miss Nina. Well, anything else you want to add before we cut it short today?
In the words of Prince, who I just absolutely loved and adored his music, love one another. Let's make an effort to be kind, be respectful, and be careful out there. It's crazy these days, and I just hope we can get back to love,
Absolutely. Wise words indeed. That is Jacnique Nina. You can find out more about Janique on her website at janiquenina.com, correct?
That's right.
All right. And like I said, we'll have links in the show notes and also on our website at bringbacksoulmusic.com about where to find Nina's music and a little bit more about her bio as well. I know we really kind of didn't get, but you're very accomplished with all the awards and stuff you've been winning. But I think that, no problem. I think that people will really enjoy your music. I mean, if the first two songs are any indication, please pick up her music. It's great music. Miss Nina, I appreciate you coming on the Bring Back Soul Music podcast.
I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
No problem. And keep doing what you're doing. Keep up the good work.
I shall.
And we'll look out for Miss Jacnique Nina.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. And that's Jacnique Nina on the Bring Back Soul Music podcast. And we'll be right back.
Calling all lovers of soul music. The time to make soul music relevant again is now. You've been listening to the Bring Back Soul Music podcast with Todd Woodson. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to tell a friend. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to our newsletter at bringbacksoulmusic.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank my special guest, Miss Jacnique Nina. You can find out more about Janique on her website at janiquenina.com. Don't forget to connect with us on social media. You can also listen to the Bring Back Soul Music podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Join us next week for another episode of the Bring Back Soul Music podcast. Taking us home this week is Jacnique Nina and another song from the Wish of the Heart CD. This is called The Bright Side of Goodbye. I'm Todd Woodson. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.
Been a long time since he looked into my eyes. Took a long time, but I finally saw the light. Had some dark days, but I finally broken free. Now it's clear